I used to have a cat named Bean. So fast forward a little bit after the trip, we came back, we started looking for the cat. She had never really liked Bean anyways, and she never really liked them. So I was like, well girl, you must not have been struggling in them streets for real. Cause what y'all think? Should I get me another cat? So while I'm getting ready, I'm just gonna tell y'all about this crazy thing that happened to me last week. I used to have a cat named Bean. So Bean was my cat for about 8 years or so. One day she just ran off. So it wasn't like unknown for her to like leave the house and go and do whatever she's doing. She was spayed, so it wasn't like she was gonna have any kittens, and she would come back. But this time, about 2 years ago, Bean didn't come back. So like around this time, it had to be like November of 2021. I was pregnant with her, and Zuri was about to turn a year old. So we had went out of town, and Bean had ran out the house along with the dogs. The dogs came back. Bean did not come back. So we were on a crunch to leave, and I'm waiting for her to come back or whatever, and she didn't come back. So then my best friend was coming over. I was like, hey, Bean ran outside. Can you let me know when she come back? So she never showed up. So fast forward a little bit after the trip, we came back. We started looking for the cat. She had on a collar. Nobody contacted us like, hey, we found your cat or anything. So as the time went on, I was just like, okay, maybe she got hit. Maybe she had left to go die because she was, older. Until I get home one day from picking my husband up from the airport, and there is a black and a white cat behind my house. Well, right there by my trash can. And I'm like, Bean, is that you? Is that you, Bean? Because I thought it was my girl. So I went in the house, got me a flashlight. Outside, I'm like, Bean, Bean, Bean. And I'm flashing a little flashlight on her and everything. And the cat stops, rolls over like, oh my God, my mother is here to save me. So my husband goes and picks her up, and we walk her into the house. I'm petting her. I'm just like, oh my God, like, it's been 2 years. So I get inside my house with the cat. My dogs start going crazy. Now I have two little chihuahuas. So they barking, carrying on. They never really liked Bean anyways, and she never really liked them. So I wasn't surprised when the fiasco started. So then she just ran into my room and hid by my table. So she just stood there by my table. She really didn't want to be aggravated. So as I'm looking at the cat, just like, come here, come here. So she's coming to me. She's laying on my husband. I mean, she having herself a good time, honey, because it was like, she had been found. So then, like, my kids are like, oh my God, I can't believe Bean decided to come back after all this time. And I mean, she had gotten bigger. So I was like, well, girl, you must not have been struggling in them streets for real. Because she was a little thick. So I did notice that her collar was not on her. So I was like, okay, maybe she had just, wiggled herself out of it. Or maybe somebody did find her and probably kept her for a little while. I don't know. But I was just like, okay, my emotions started running wild. Because my cat is that was my road dog. I mean, she was old. But she was still my road dog for a little minute. So my husband was like, come here, let me talk to you or whatever. So I'm like, okay, like what he trying to say? Like, we ain't got room for a cat? Like, I don't know. War ready, I guess you can say mode. I was like, I know this man ain't about to tell me we can't keep our cat. Like, bruh, that's our cat. Just run away. But anyways, he was like, look at the cat. I was like, okay. So I'm looking at the cat. He was like, I mean, the back of the cat. So I look at the back of the cat. Baby, why that cat got balls? Why are we sitting here debating the cat? The cat is like laying on my husband. He like, what's up? Like, like he's known us all his life. And I'm like, oh my God, like this cat is an imposter. Like, no wonder the dogs was barking how they were. Because like even at this point, they were like coming to the door like, yo, this is an imposter. This is This is not me. And we like, oh, why y'all so jealous? Like, y'all always stay jealous of this cat. Like, y'all really cutting up. Child, it was like, yeah, whatever. That ain't even the daggone cat that you think it is. So, my husband was like, well, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? So, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I named the little cat Chester. And I was like, well, I don't know what we're gonna do with Chester because Chester, he act like he really know us. So, I mean, maybe we should just keep Chester. Like, but then I was like, yes, it would be bad to keep Chester because Chester's probably somebody's cat. Like, this is probably, some little kid probably looking for their cat, and he just happened to be in my trash can. Like, he probably not a stray. Like, even though he don't have a collar on him, he was like real friendly. So then my husband's like, okay, you're just gonna have to make a post in the neighborhood group and be like, hey, found somebody's cat. And that gave me anxiety. Okay, I just could not do it. I felt like it was gonna sound like, hey, thought this cat was my cat. It was not. The cat has balls. Obviously not my female cat. So are you missing a cat? No, girl, you stole them people cat. You stole it. And I really guess I felt that way because I had went into the neighbor yard to get the cat. It was not my neighbor cat, so don't be like, well, girl, was it the neighbor cat? No, it wasn't my neighbor's cat. But I kind of felt like I kind of cohorts the cat to come with me. But I also felt like the cat was a little bit too friendly. Like, what you out here just going to people for? Somebody real steal you. So then I was like, okay. I was like, so no, that's not going to be the plan. What should I do? So I'm like, okay, maybe I should text my neighbor and be like, hey, what should I do? Do you know if it's somebody's cat? So I was like, look, Chester was already outside, right? So if Chester leaves, like if I let him outside and he leaves, then, maybe he does have a home and, I hope he goes home and gets there safely, everything like that. Because it was late. At this point, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, almost. Yeah, I'm up late with Chester. So we ended up, putting our dogs up so they wouldn't be barking and carrying on at him. And I opened up the front door and I was like, okay. I was like, are you gonna leave Chester? Child. Chester, like, real life skedaddled on me. Like, he was like, oh, okay, well, that was fun. Pretty much. Oh my God. I'm also like laughing to hide my pain. But anyway, he's left. And like, I mean, he didn't even look back. Like, he didn't even look back to be like, oh, is she okay? He didn't care about me. He was gone. He was like, oh, okay, she done figured out that I ain't who she was looking for. So I'm going to go ahead on out the door. So he left. And I ain't going to lie, I went to the window a couple of times just to see if, like, maybe he had made a U-turn. Did not, honey. He did not make a U-turn. He didn't. So Chester's gone. It was not my cat. So I'm not gonna lie to y'all and be like, oh, that didn't kind of like set some emotions off in me because I have been wanting a cat for a little minute, but I've always left the door open for my cat to come home. Like I felt like I always had hope, and then I felt like my hope got like oh my God, like she came back to. No, she didn't. She's really probably dead. So, and I laugh because I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm weird like that, whatever. But, so I do have to let my emotions pass, I think. I gotta like, deal with my emotions. Like, okay, the cat is probably gone or whatever. But then at that time, I guess I need to make a decision on if I want another cat. Because right now, as of today, I will get me a cat right now. But I know I'm only moving off my emotions. But if I wait a couple of weeks and I still get a cat, then I know I really want a cat. So what y'all think? Should I get me another cat?